world of cryptids and terrifying legends, few creatures have gained as much notoriety as the Chupacabra, the so-called goat sucker. For nearly 3 decades, this bloodthirsty predator has haunted the darkest corners of rural landscapes, leaving behind trails of mutilated livestock and terrified witnesses. And yet, despite countless reports, mysterious deaths, and eerie encounters, the scientific world remains silent, dismissing it all as folklore, hysteria, or sick animals. But what if the truth is far more disturbing? It all began in the heart of Puerto Rico, a tropical island known for its rich culture, dense jungles, and countless untold mysteries. In 1995, something happened that would change the island's history forever. A wave of livestock killings, so brutal, so precise, that even seasoned farmers and hunters were left speechless. Goats, sheep, chickens, all found dead with the same bizarre wounds, 2 perfectly round puncture marks, usually on the neck or chest. And most terrifying of all, not a single drop of blood remained in the bodies. The media quickly picked up the story, spreading fear across Latin America and soon the world. The creature responsible was dubbed El Chupacabra, the goat sucker. But behind the sensational headlines and cheap TV shows, something real seemed to be lurking. Eyewitnesses described a creature like nothing they had ever seen. Reptilian skin, long claws, spines down its back, and eyes that glowed with an unnatural, intelligent light. What made this case so unique was not just the brutality of the attacks, but the consistency. Over and over, from different people in different regions, the same chilling details appeared. How could so many describe the same creature without ever meeting each other? Could this truly be just mass hysteria? Or was something stalking the night, hidden from the eyes of science, but known all too well by those who lived close to the land? And why, even after all these years, does the Chupacabra continue to surface in new places, leaving the same bloody trail behind? The further we dig into this legend, the more it feels like a deliberate cover-up, an attempt to erase something that has always been there, just beyond the reach of our comfortable reality. Tonight, we reopen the case of the Chupacabra. We'll travel through the most terrifying testimonies, forgotten archives, and chilling encounters that point to one unsettling conclusion. This is not just a myth. The Chupacabra is real, and it's still out there. The true nightmare began in the small town of Canóvanas, Puerto Rico. It was March 1995 when reports first surfaced. Dozens of sheep found dead, their bodies untouched, except for strange, precise puncture wounds. These weren't savage killings by wild dogs or careless predators. No, each animal lay lifeless, as if carefully drained of life itself. Bloodless, silent, mysterious. Farmers, hardened by years of working the land, stood pale and speechless over their slaughtered livestock. They'd seen natural predators attack before, torn flesh, scattered fur, signs of a fight. But this was different. The wounds were surgical. 2 neat holes, sometimes on the neck, sometimes on the chest, but always placed with eerie precision. There was no struggle, no panic in the animals. It was as if death had simply descended from the night sky. Among the first to speak out was a local farmer named Osvaldo Class. He had lost over 30 animals in just one night. They were drained, completely dry, he recalled in an interview. Not a drop of blood anywhere. It was like something came just for that, for the blood. Class, trembling, described strange tracks around the farm. Small, clawed footprints that didn't match any known animal. They vanished at the tree line, as if the creature had taken flight. By the summer of that year, the killing spread. Chickens, rabbits, goats, all slaughtered in the same horrific manner. Local officials tried to calm the panic, blaming wild dogs or satanic cults, but nothing added up. Wild dogs don't drain blood. Cultists don't work with such speed, silence, and precision. And the creature, people began seeing it. Eyewitness accounts described a monstrous figure lurking at the edge of the jungle. Between 3 to 4 feet tall, it stood on 2 powerful legs. Its body covered in grayish-green, scaly skin. Along its spine ran a row of sharp, bony protrusions, and its head was oversized, with large, forward-facing eyes that glowed an unholy red. Some claim the creature moved like a kangaroo, leaping incredible distances. Others swore it could vanish into the darkness as if it were part shadow itself. One of the most terrifying testimonies came from a woman named Madeline Tolentino, whose account became the foundation of the Chupacabra legend. She claimed the creature stared directly into her eyes, intelligent, calculating, almost human. "It wasn't an animal," she whispered. "It was something else. Something that knew exactly what it was doing." As the death toll rose, Canovanas Mayor Jose Chimo Soto took matters into his own hands. Armed with a rifle, he led hunting parties into the night, determined to kill the beast. They found nothing. The killings continued. The press descended on the town, cameras rolling as frightened villagers clutched their children and locked their doors at night. The legend of the Chupacabra was born, not from rumors, but from blood, fear, and dozens of lifeless bodies drained dry. And from that moment, the creature was no longer just a story. It was real, and it was hunting. While the name Chupacabra was born in 1995, some researchers argue the creature's roots reach much deeper into history, hidden in ancient myths, colonial records, and forgotten legends that speak of a bloodthirsty predator haunting the Americas for centuries. Spanish conquistadors, upon their arrival in the New World, documented terrifying encounters with creatures unknown to European science. In their journals, some described blood-drinking demons that attacked livestock under the cover of darkness, leaving drained carcasses behind. Though dismissed by modern historians as exaggerations, these early reports bear a chilling resemblance to the Chupacabra phenomenon. Going further back, indigenous tribes of Central and South America speak of the Camazots, a bat-like creature worshipped and feared as a god of death. Camazots was said to fly silently through the night, hunting animals and humans alike, draining their blood with surgical precision. Stone carvings found in ancient Mayan ruins depict large, winged beasts with sharp fangs and humanoid features, a terrifying parallel to modern Chupacabra descriptions. In the mountains of Chile and Peru, the Quechua people tell stories of the Pishtaco, a pale, monstrous figure that roamed the night, feeding on the fat and blood of peasants and animals. Even in North American folklore, legends speak of night stalkers, shadowy creatures that bled livestock dry and disappeared without a trace. Are these just symbolic tales? Ancient attempts to explain disease or unexplained animal deaths? Or could they be fragmented memories of real encounters with the same predator, known today as the Chupacabra? Adding to the mystery, many of these ancient stories share specific details: the preference for blood, the nocturnal attacks, and the supernatural speed or stealth of the creature. Too many coincidences, or a pattern pointing to a real, hidden species that has adapted, survived, and evolved alongside us? What if the Chupacabra isn't a modern creation, but rather an ancient predator, once known, feared, and nearly forgotten, now resurfacing in a world that no longer believes in monsters? And what if the real question isn't where it came from, but why it has returned? As the fear spread beyond Puerto Rico, new reports began surfacing across Latin America, Mexico, Chile, Argentina, and soon after, even in the southern United States. Each case carried the same unsettling trademarks: dead livestock, precise puncture wounds, and bodies completely drained of blood. Farmers, ranchers, and villagers from vastly different regions described nearly identical scenes, as if the same unseen predator was stalking an entire continent. In northern Mexico, ranchers reported a series of gruesome attacks in the late 1990s. Goats, chickens, and even dogs were found dead, their blood drained clean. One rancher, Eduardo Martinez from Tamaulipas, recalled waking up to the sound of terrified animals, only to find his entire herd slaughtered by morning. It wasn't dogs, he swore. They don't kill like that. Whatever it was, it came in silence and left no trace. Around the same time, similar incidents erupted in Chile. Dozens of sheep and goats turned up dead overnight. Same wounds, same absence of blood. Locals started referring to the killer as El Chupacabra, fully convinced that the monster had migrated south, searching for new hunting grounds. But the most disturbing shift happened when the phenomenon crossed into the United States. In Texas, particularly in rural areas near the Mexican border, ranchers began reporting strange sightings and unexplained deaths. The description of the creature, however, started to change. No longer the reptilian, spiked monster of Puerto Rico. Now witnesses spoke of a hairless, gray-skinned animal, resembling a twisted mix of dog and coyote, with sunken eyes and oversized fangs. In 2004, a woman named Phyllis Canyon from Cuero, Texas, made headlines after finding several of her chickens dead, drained with no blood on the ground. Soon after, she captured photographs of a bizarre, hairless creature on her property. Its blue-gray skin, thin frame, and large teeth shocked local authorities. "I've lived here all my life," Canyon said. "I know coyotes. I know wild animals. This was something else." Experts dismissed the carcass as a mangy coyote. DNA tests labeled it a canid with severe mange. But skeptics couldn't explain why the animal killed in such a peculiar blood-draining way, a behavior unnatural for any canine predator. And yet, the wave of attacks continued. Reports poured in from New Mexico, Arizona, even as far as Florida. In every case, bloodless bodies, clean puncture wounds, and terrified witnesses. Some began to believe that the Chupacabra was adapting, evolving, or that multiple types of these creatures existed, each suited to their environment. Eyewitnesses in these American cases reported something far worse than a sick animal. They spoke of a creature that moved unnaturally fast, its gaze cold and intelligent. "When it looked at me," one Texan farmer claimed, "I knew it wasn't just a wild beast. It knew what it was doing, and it wasn't afraid." The second wave of the Chupacabra had begun, more terrifying, more widespread, and more determined. Wherever it went, death followed, and science still had no answers. With the Chupacabra spreading fear across continents, cryptozoologists, researchers dedicated to uncovering hidden or unknown species, began their own investigations. Unlike mainstream scientists who dismiss the cases as hysteria, these hunters of the unknown believed the patterns were too consistent, the eyewitness reports too detailed, and the animal deaths too unnatural to ignore. Among the first was renowned cryptozoologist Scott Corrales, who traveled through Puerto Rico, Mexico, and Texas, gathering testimonies and studying attack sites. What he found was chilling. In dozens of cases, the blood was completely drained, yet there was no mess, no splatter. He discovered animals with surgically precise puncture wounds, some so small they could easily be missed. "No predator we know of kills this way," Corrales stated. "This is calculated. This is intentional." Forensic veterinarians confirmed the strangest part. The victims weren't torn apart or devoured. Organs remained intact. Only the blood was missing, as if extracted with a purpose. The bite radius and shape of the wounds rarely matched any known predator. Furthermore, several autopsies revealed collapsed blood vessels, as if something had created a vacuum to extract the blood without causing massive tissue damage. Adding to the mystery were strange tracks found at some of the crime scenes. Three-toed prints unlike any local fauna. In a few cases, witnesses claimed to see the creature leap incredible distances, leaving no sign of entry or escape. Infrared cameras placed by farmers occasionally picked up blurred, fast-moving shapes, too quick to identify, too large to be coyotes. Cryptozoologists propose theories. What if the chupacabra was a relic species, a surviving predator from prehistoric times, adapted to hunting through blood extraction? Or perhaps an undiscovered branch of vampiric mammals, hidden in remote jungles or caves, forced into human view by habitat destruction. Some even connected the creature to known cases of cattle mutilations reported in the American Midwest since the 1970s. Cows found dead with precise cuts, organs missing, and drained blood. Could the chupacabra and these mutilations be connected, sharing a common predator long dismissed by authorities? And then came the sightings of multiple types of chupacabras, reptilian ones in the Caribbean and hairless, dog-like versions in the southern US. Could this mean we weren't facing a single species, but a family of blood-feeding predators adapted to different environments? Or worse, could the original chupacabra be real, while the dog-like creatures were just a decoy, an easy way for skeptics to dismiss the entire phenomenon? Despite decades of reports, physical evidence remained elusive, as if the chupacabra was too smart, too careful to leave a body behind. Or perhaps, someone was ensuring the truth stayed buried. As the death toll rose and the chupacabra legend spread, darker theories began to surface, ones that suggested the creature wasn't just an unknown animal, but something far more terrifying. Whispers of secret experiments, genetic manipulation, and government cover-ups filled the air, especially in regions where attacks were most intense. Some cryptozoologists and conspiracy researchers pointed to Puerto Rico's long history of secretive U.S. military activity. Deep in the island's dense forests, hidden facilities once operated under classified projects, from chemical testing to radiation experiments. Locals believed one of those experiments had gone horribly wrong, unleashing the chupacabra into the wild. One particular theory gained momentum. The chupacabra was the result of genetic engineering, a hybrid creature designed for reasons unknown. Whether it escaped or was released intentionally remained unclear. Eyewitnesses even reported seeing unmarked black helicopters in the skies above attack sites, arriving suspiciously fast after each incident, as if monitoring the creature or cleaning up. Others linked the chupacabra to UFO activity. In multiple cases across Mexico, Chile, and Texas, reports of strange lights in the sky coincided with livestock killings. Witnesses claimed to see glowing orbs hovering silently, followed by the discovery of drained animals the next morning. Was the chupacabra an extraterrestrial predator, released by or working with those unseen forces? Further adding to the mystery, some researchers pointed out electromagnetic anomalies during sightings, malfunctioning radios, drained batteries, and animals behaving erratically. These strange disturbances often accompany UFO encounters, but here, they seem tied directly to the presence of the chupacabra. And yet, despite the rising fear, authorities consistently downplayed every incident. Government spokesmen blamed coyotes, wild dogs, or even mass hysteria, but never offered proof. Autopsy reports, when done, were rarely released to the public. In several towns, farmers claimed officials confiscated animal corpses before private veterinarians could examine them. Was this coincidence? Or was someone actively erasing the evidence? To many, it became clear. The chupacabra was real, and powerful forces didn't want the world to know. Whether it was an escaped experiment, a creature from beyond the stars, or a relic of a forgotten age, the pattern remained the same. Death, fear, silence, and above it all, the lingering question, what else are they hiding from us? Decades have passed since the first terrifying reports in Puerto Rico, yet the chupacabra refuses to fade. Sightings still appear, animals still die, drained of blood, and the same chilling name echoes, the goatsucker. In Colombia, in 2019, 30 goats were found lifeless, their bodies bloodless. In Texas, strange hairless creatures with glowing eyes are still caught on night vision cameras. And every time, officials rush to explain it away. Coyotes, disease, anything but the truth. But the truth is harder to kill than a legend. The Chupacabra is no myth. It is a hunter perfectly adapted to strike from the shadows. Too fast, too smart, too careful to be caught. Perhaps it's a species we've never known. We're something not from this world at all. We believe we understand the wild, that every predator is known. But the Chupacabra is proof that something still huts just beyond our reach. Waiting, watching, feeding. And maybe that's why it still terrifies us. Because deep down we know, the hunt is not over.